Hi children, good morning. Welcome to today's social science class. I hope all are fine and happy. Today we can start a new lesson that is also from your politics. Second chapter, chapter name Diversity and Discrimination. Diversity and Discrimination. The first chapter we detailedly study about what is diversity. And in this chapter we are going to discuss about diversity and discrimination, how it's become discrimination, what is discrimination, and all these things we will discuss from this chapter. So let us start our class. Chapter 2, Diversity and Discrimination. In the previous chapter, you have discussed the meaning of diversity. Sometimes, people who are different from others are teased, laughed at, or not included in the certain activity or group. We feel hurt, angry, helpless, or sad when friends or others treat us in this such way. Have you ever wondered why this happens? In this chapter, we will try and explain how such experiences are related to the society we live in. We will look at how they are connected to the inequalities that are exist around us. Difference and prejudice. There are many things that make us what we are, how we live, the languages we speak, what we eat, where, the games we play, and the things we celebrate. All of these are influenced both by the geography and history of the place where we live. There are eight major religions in the world. Every single one of them is practiced in India. We have more than 1,600 languages that are people's mother tongues, and there are more than 100 dance forms. Yet, this diversity is not always celebrated. This is because we feel safe and secure with people who look, talk, dress, and think like us. Sometimes, when we meet people who are very different from us, we may find them strange and unfamiliar. At times, we may not understand or know the reason why they are different from us. People also form certain attitudes and opinions about others who are not like them. Look at the statement which is given page number 14, that you believe to be true about rural and urban life in India. Tick mark those that you agree with. On rural people, more than 50% of all Indians live in villages. Villagers do not care about their health. They are full of superstition. People in villages are backward and do not like to use modern agricultural technology. In peak harvesting and plantation season, families spend 12 to 14 hours working in the field. Villagers are forced to migrate to cities in search of work. Urban people. Life in the city easy. People here are spoiled and lazy. In cities, families spend very little time with each other. People in cities only care about money, not about people. Living in a city is expensive. A large part of people's earning is spent on rent and transport. City people cannot be trusted. They are cunning and corrupt. Some of these statements see villagers as ignorant and superstitious and see people in cities as money minded, lazy, and cunning. When our opinions about certain people are always negative, seeing them as lazy, cunning, stingy, as some of these statements, then these become prejudices that we carry about them. Prejudice means to judge other people negatively or see them as inferior. When we think that only one particular way is the best and right way to do things, we often end up not respecting others who may prefer to do things differently. For example, If we think English is the best language and other languages are not important, we are judging these other languages negatively. As a result, we might not respect people who speak languages other than English. We can be prejudiced about many things: people's religious beliefs, the color of their skin, the region they comes from, the accent they speak in, the clothes they wear, etc. Often, our prejudices about others are so strong that we don't want to form a friendship with them. At times, we may even act in ways that hurt them, creating stereotypes. All of us are familiar with gender differences. What does it mean to be a boy or girl? Many of you would say, we are born as boys and girls. It is a given. What is there to think about? Let us see if this is the case. Arrange the statements given in page number 15 into two sections according to what you think is appropriate for the section. They are well behaved. They are soft spoken and gentle. They are physically strong. They are naughty. They are good at dance and painting. They don't cry. They are rowdy. They are good at sports. They are good at cooking. They are emotional. Children, here some of the statements we will surely give to boys and other statements we will give to girls. Okay, they are naughty. They are physically strong. They are rowdy. They don't cry. They are good at sports. Maybe all these statements we will give to boys. And for the girls, they are soft spoken and gentle. They are emotional. They are good at cooking. And like these statements we will give to girls. Why we are giving like these statements to girls and boys? Are the qualities you put in for boys something that boys are born with? Not. Of coursely not. If we take the statement, they don't cry, you will see that this is a quality that is generally associated with boys and men. As babies or children, when boys fall and hurt themselves, their parents and other family members often console them by saying, "Don't cry, you are a boy." Boys are brave, they don't cry. As children grow up, they started believing that boys do not cry, so that even if a boy feels like crying, he stops himself from doing so. He also believes that crying is a sign of weakness. So, even though both boys and girls sometimes want to cry, especially if they are angry or in pain, as they grow older, boys learn or teach themselves not to cry. If a grown boy cries, then he feels that others will either tease him or laugh at him, and so he stops himself from doing so in front of others. This is the way boys are, and this is how girls are. These are statements we hear constantly and accept without even thinking. And we start believing that each one of us must behave accordingly. We fit all boys and all girls into an image that society creates around us. You can take other statements such as they are soft and gentle or they are well behaved and discuss how these are applied to girls. Do girls possess these qualities at birth or do they learn such behavior from others? What do you think about girls who are not soft and gentle and those who are naughty? Like this way, society fixed a image to boys and girls. If girls breaking that image means the society is questioning. One example, if a girl is climbing a tree means the society or the parents, the others, they are asking, are you a girl? Why are you climbing a tree? So in a such a way, the girls only can do these kinds of activities and they can only can image like this way. And these boys, when they are crying, the society asking, why are you crying? Are you a boy? Why these boys can't cry and why these girls can't climb a tree? So the society fixing an image to both. If anyone is breaking, the society questioning and they are saying they are not doing well. So that is stereotype. Children, now we can give a simple definition for stereotype. When we fix people into one image, we create a stereotype. When people say that those who belong to a particular country, religion, sex, race, or economic backgrounds are stingy, lazy, criminal, or dumb, they are using stereotypes. They are stingy and generous people everywhere, in every country, in every religion, in every group, whether rich or poor, male or female. And just because some people are like that, it is not fair to think that everyone will be the same. Children, now you can look at page number 16. The children you see in the illustrations here were seen as disabled. This term has been changed and now the term used is children with special needs. Common stereotypes about them are given in large letters. They are often feelings and thoughts too are given. We can look about each illustration. The first illustration. The people say all sorts of things. I limp, I lisp, all this and more. Sometimes I feel so sad and sore. Folk make fun. It's nothing new. If you were, what would you do? You look so different. I'm a person. I feel shy. From staring eyes, I want to hide. Is her mind okay? Just because my legs are wobbly, people think my mind is wobbly too. Children, like this way, society create a stereotype about these disabled people. The society think that they are like this, they can't do. So such a way, the society create a stereotype. Society create a image to these disabled people. Actually, they are like to do everything, and we only need to support them. So that is not happening, and society fixing a stereotype, a image to them. How can we stop these stereotypes? Stereotypes stop us from looking at each person as a unique individual with his or her own special qualities and skills that are different from others. They fit large numbers of people into only one pattern or type. Stereotypes affect all of us as they prevent us from doing certain things that we might otherwise be good at. Children, now I am going to wind up today's video. Today mainly we discuss about differences and prejudice and what is about prejudice. Then how creating stereotypes and how it can be stopped, how these stereotypes can be stopped. All these things we discuss. Now you have to read this portion, underline important points. Okay, thank you. Thank you to listening my class.